What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are here in Germany for the Hockenheim Grand Prix. Getting very close to the summer break in this season. It's going to be an interesting race for sure. We're looking at the weekend preview as well as the components, and you can see on the bottom right during the race it will be raining from go from dry to intermediate conditions, followed by pure wet conditions, which will be quite interesting. During the last race and obviously this race moving forward, we do have the performance update, and as you can see, Sport Pacer Racing Point have jumped up just a little bit, and Mercedes are well and clear in the way. Ferrari not doing too well in terms of their car performance. Aston Martin obviously splitting the two pairs ourselves. Actually got a little bit of a buff, but nothing to shout home and do that about. But this time Pierre Gasly not in his tuxedo race suit, which is it's a shame to see, really. It was a very good look for him. Same with Lewis Hamilton, will be using his normal red helmet. Sadly for us, at time of recording this, there wasn't a version of the Mercedes car announced, or a preconception livery for what they'll be running at the German Grand Prix by the looks of it. So unfortunately, we are going to be using just the bog standard Mercedes. But we're not going to be seeing very much in this episode. We really struggled for pace around here, and you'll be able to see throughout qualifying that I just didn't have the pace. I'm not sure why. This track just doesn't seem to suit me. I was really looking forward to this track, and I just kind of crumbled, really. Our first run was only good enough for P15. Obviously on the bottom we had to really push as best we can, taking as much liberties as we can without going off the track completely, apart from the last corner, of course, messing up the apex there. But we go through, and it's only good enough for P14, and that ended up pushing us down to P17. We found a little bit more time, not much at all. We haven't found much. We was down in the first sector because we set purple in the first lap before, but we pushed through, and we managed to go into position 17. We just had no pace around it. I'm not sure why exactly. I feel this was one of the tracks where obviously you got a massive boost with the latest patch, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't find any pace, and it was super frustrating. We got eliminated with Ricciardo and our teammate as well, so it wasn't all that bad. But as a whole, our pace was just all over the gap. It really was. But it's got the German Air Force performing for us here. We had Red Arrows last week, so this year I guess it's only right. But look, we've got a Red Bull on pole position. Now, before we get into that, and which Mercedes it was exactly, we've got Sergio Perez there with a fuzzy looking livery, to say the least. Nico Hülkenberg in last place. Obviously he's taking a grid penalty, I would assume. I don't think the Renault's that far down the grid, but we will have a look at the full grid now and find out which Red Bull's on pole. And in fact, it is actually going to be Max Verstappen. It's never going to be Pierre Gasly, is it? Let's be honest. Valtteri Bottas himself and his beard in P2, just ahead of Charles Leclerc. Gasly P4. Hamilton is nowhere to be seen, all the way down in P6. Lucas Faber 7. Perez just scraping through into P10 in the fourth best car. Lando Norris behind Devon Butler on the starting grid. Ricciardo, like I said earlier, just ahead of us. Albon, Kubica, and sure enough, Nico Hülkenberg with a few penalties. I didn't think that Renault was quite that slow, not yet, especially after the patch. But ready for the lights to go out here in Germany, and we're underway straight away. Ricciardo gets off to an absolute mega start, and he looks like he could try and stop between Norris and Stroll, but he gets pinched out a little bit. We'll go the long way around, past Ricciardo if possible. He pushes us off the circuit, the cheeky little Australian, and we're going to have to try and dance around his outside if possible. We're nearly going to go to the grass, and we're going to squeeze past him and possibly Norris if we get an opportunity. We're going to have a look at Stroll on the exit, not quite getting the traction down that we needed to get past him. You can see we've got 3 cars potentially lining up. They could go 3 wide as we come into the hairpin, and sure enough, Devon Butler on the outside. He's surely going to lose the most out of this, and we could almost go into the back of Lance Stroll. We have to lock up our front tyres, go all the way round, and let's get not allowed back on the circuit. We bang tyres there with Devon. Stroll's actually got past Grosjean, so fair play to the Canadian driver. He's actually done an amazing start so far, all things considered. Butler's still in our rear right hand side, giving us a little love tap, just let him know we're there. But following that, we are now chasing Grosjean into the same point of the circuit where he went off last time. So it wasn't great for us. Out in front, Verstappen is leading. We see a door open for Grosjean. We're going to lock our front tyres, bang tyres, and barge our way past Romain Grosjean. Certainly no love lost between ourselves and him, and especially not for Haas, rich energy as well. But Magnussen on the next lap. We're taking them up flies at the moment. Magnussen is going to be the next victim we take. We're running a bit low here on the ERS energy as we're using it to get up to him. Same thing as Grosjean, banging front tyres and they're going to get past. But Stroll, like I said, he's made moves so far. That Mercedes engine in the back of his car working an absolute treat. Just a little bit ahead of us, so it's going to be interesting trying to catch up to him. We are starting to struggle just a little bit on our tyres, and obviously trying to regain some of the engine deployment. We can't quite catch Stroll. We're catching him on laps where, you know, we've got energy to burn and stuff like that. We're losing a little bit of time to him each lap where we've not got any of our deployment on. But you can see it's actually starting to rain here on lap 10. We said at the beginning of the video that the rain's going to come down and it's going to be interchanging conditions. The Haas cars are still fine. At this point, Stroll got past Kimi, so Stroll is on the charge. That leaves both Force India's neck and tail in terms of the order. But you can see it's getting a bit too wet, and we have to come in very, very shortly. Lap 14, just got 21 laps to go. Not long left in this Grand Prix at all. But coming into braking zone, Gasly has dropped all the way down from, I believe it was P4. He's now in P10, so he had a problem. We do end up coming in for the pits on the following lap, just because we need to get these tyres off, get on some fresh boots, and see what we can do. We're going to come out last if we're really not careful. Kubica's coming around the final corner before the pit lane exit, and you can see we go a little bit wide there. He's actually going to get the job done before we get into the braking zone, and it's time to see if we made a good call on these tyres. We need to get past him as quick as possible. We can't be held up by the Williams. We've got a little bit of damage, unfortunately, we incurred during the wheel banger, but we couldn't actually get past Kubica, and you can see very close on the exit as he darts into the pit lane. We've got a few cars in the pit lane and hoping to see if we can pick up a few positions. So on the mini-map, you can see that red dot will be Kimi Räikkönen, and that will be Magnussen just ahead. We managed to get ahead of him. Stroll, we managed to jump temporarily, but he dived it down our inside, and there's Gasly just ahead as well. So Lance Stroll, on the other hand, he's going to become a little bit vulnerable here, as we are absolutely just demolishing our tyres on traction. We've gone balls to the wall on fuel, and our ERS deployment is not looking very good. We've really struggled this race with pace, and also management as a whole just isn't going too well. We'll go down the inside of Stroll here at the hairpin. We're going to give him no room to work and get that job done. Now, if we can hunt down Gasly, that would make our day a little bit better, getting past one of our main rivals itself. But we're in P10 at the moment. We've got a Alfa Romeo of Kimi Räikkönen coming into the pit lane, so he's stopped again. Whether that's for wet tyres or he's just stopped again, just for the sake of it, I'm not entirely sure. But on lap 22, you can see we've been dropped by Gasly. We are really struggling. We've had to recover all this fuel that we used earlier in the race, as well as the ERS, and we're just coming into the clutches of the cars behind. Grosjean's now got past Stroll, and Grosjean will try and mount a challenge on ourselves if he can, which at one point he will. But we have to come in. We have to come in for wet tyres with 10 laps to go, and it was just getting ridiculously wet. We get held by Russell there, unfortunately, but we do come back out in P10, and obviously got a few cars ahead that will need to pit still. So we were in P9 momentarily, and then Stroll tries to go around or outside at the hairpin. We go a little bit deep, which blocks him off from coming back on the racing line. So Norris actually gets past him, but that Mercedes engine will drag him up through the gears and make him just about a little bit more favourable into the braking zones. But Norris somehow actually manages to get the position off of him. Whether that will last, I'm not too sure, as they were battling, but it does look like Norris is clearly ahead at this point. So Norris, the man we had a titanic battle with last race, is now in our rear view mirrors. He's potentially looking for revenge after we did get one up on him. And Sebastian Vettel is out of this German Grand Prix in the wet. Flashbacks of last year's Grand Prix for him, surely. But this time it wasn't a crash. It looks like he's just pulling up with a retirement. So maybe not as bad as it was last year for Vettel, but for sure it isn't good. We're about to start lap, I believe, 32, so not much longer to go. We've got the Ferrari on the right hand side, just out of camera shot, unfortunately. Would have been interesting to pass him here during the race. But you can see we've got Norris. He's going to be on our gearbox. He's going to be wanting revenge. You can see we lose the back end and we fishtail all the way around. We're almost off the circuit. We bring it, we drift back round, and that gives Lando an opportunity to go past us. We actually got saved there by Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll went straight into the side of us and pushed us back down to normal. We saved us from ERS to fight Lando when it came, but I really don't think at this point we're going to catch back up to him. We're going to get past back Stroll, and that's more or less it, unless we can out of nowhere find pace, which we've lacked the entire race. You can see on the mini-map the train we've got behind us. I believe that's up to P18. It's just been an absolute nightmare. But our teammate Alexander Albon now battling George Russell for that is P10, because Stroll's dropped off. Albon and George Russell going side by side. If we can, we're going to try and slow down Russell a little bit to allow our teammate get a better chance past. We're going to brake here just a little bit earlier than we normally would to allow Albon past Russell. We've done that. Our teammate is now trying to overtake us. Albon is being really cheeky after we help him out. We hold the inside line and hope that he tries it, and he does still continue to give it a go, and George Russell loses out just about. But you can see here, so we braked a little bit earlier, which gave Albon the run on us, and then instead of, you know, being Curtis' teammate that, you know, you kind of expect, he does try to go around the outside into the stadium section, but luckily we did hold him off, which is obviously helping getting Albon some points. You know, 1 point isn't all that, but at the same time, points for the team is points for the team. Both racing points, you know, we need to try and get past them in the championship, but we do come home in a P9. Lando just disappeared off the road. He just absolutely just went on a mad one. But this time Lando bested us. We got double points finish, which really doesn't happen often for this team, especially in this career mode. It's been few and far between. But our senior team, Red Bull, actually get another win, which is, you know, is absolutely mental. Like, you know, Max Verstappen, I believe this is his first win. I believe it's Red Bull's first win of the season. I think the only other team to win other than Mercedes was obviously Lando Norris in Monaco. I could be wrong, but I'm sure I'll find out at some point. Arava and Matt and JD are working for Red Bull, so no wonder they won. Pierre Gasly P7, we just didn't have the pace to catch up to him, unfortunately. Would have finished one position behind him, but, you know, rainy day like this, it's quite difficult. But Charles Leclerc on the podium, so Mercedes just didn't have the pace around it at all. Bottas, you know, dropping from P2 to P3. The conditions probably just caught him out, to be fair. You know, the Red Bull is good in wet conditions, and obviously Verstappen is showing that once again. He managed to hold off that challenge. Not sure how far behind Charles Leclerc was, but, you know, I'd expect he was a little bit off, you know, considering the Red Bull. But obviously we can check that in the full race results. But happy days for Verstappen and obviously Adrian Newey on the podium. And you can see about 3.5 seconds separating those cars. But yeah, P9 and P10 for both of us. Lucas Faber did an amazing job in P6. And, you know, happy days. Happy days. We're still currently P6 in the championship, which is, you know, that's always nice. Toro Rosso P5. You can see only 5 points behind Racing Point, which, again, isn't that bad. But, you know, it would be nice to get a little bit more on them as we have a look at R&D tree and see what we can upgrade. We spent a lot of points prior to the last race. But that's been it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please slap a like on it. If you're new around here, please subscribe for Formula 1 content every other day. That's been it for me, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.